Howdy folks, I'm Staticky Statusy, stagnantly staycationing near startled stallions.
I'm Amber.
I mean, here are more startled stallions for us to startle because we are the ones who did that. That's why they're startled. We're apparently very disturbing type of flower. A very disturbing flower. Do not look this flower up. You will be horrified, mortified,
I don't think so.
terrified. Let's get started. And folks, if you're new to this show, welcome. Today, Amber and I will be talking about how to become a powerful sorcerer for the next 20 minutes.
That's not on the agenda.
Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Agreeing with My Niece Being Booed at Her Sister's Wedding and Then Later Putting Her in Check? I have two nieces, and one recently got married. The other one is pregnant with her first child. At the reception, she used her toast time to announce it. My niece is selfish like that and has always stolen the spotlight. She always got away with it, though, because she was the favorite. Well, she didn't get away with it today. The groom's family and friends immediately booed her loudly. The best man, groom's brother, said on the mic how dare she use his brother's wedding to announce that, and that this day is not about you. The booing changed to applause, and not just from his friends and family. I clapped too. My selfish niece and her husband left out of embarrassment. I went to the bride and checked on her and hugged her. That's when I found out that my niece asked the bride for permission to announce it weeks ago, because it's practical since the whole family will be there. But the bride said no. She wanted that day to be about her and her husband. This made me very glad that I clapped. Later on, selfish niece sent me a text blasting me for clapping while she was being humiliated. I ignored it. She called me the next day and blasted me. But this time, I told her that she deserved it. I told her that I knew her sister had asked her not to announce anything, but you had to make it about yourself like you always do. She then had the nerve to tell me that she's always been your favorite niece. And while that's true, that pushed me over the edge. I told her that she, the bride, had to be someone's favorite since you held that title with both of your parents. Unlike you, she has a kind and selfless spirit that she'll pass on to her first child. Then I told her that I don't want to hear from you until you grow the F up and apologize to your sister. Then I hung up. Now I'm all kinds of a jerk to my sister, their mom, and the other family members for clapping and my words over the phone. I don't regret the clapping, but did I go too far over the phone? All right, folks, what do you think? Far or not far enough?
Not the jerk here. I mean, it's about time someone put selfish niece in her place. I really like the way the groom's family handled this.
Yeah.
Bravo to them and to OP for supporting them. And that needs to happen more often when people try and sabotage their relatives' events. Don't give them the attention they want.
Shame them.
Yeah.
Shame them shamelessly.
And I don't think anything OP said was out of line. It's very clear that selfish niece has been getting away with a lot for a very long time.
Well, what did OP even say that wasn't true?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the niece is the one who called OP up to continue the conversation, right? The niece could have just left well enough alone, but they chose not to. They chose to kind of pick at this, and OP just told them what they thought that they needed to hear. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And MLV0505 says, there goes your invite to the baby shower. And OP replies, oh, I've already been made aware, lol.
What's a miss? OP must be missing out on the event of the century.
And Sweet Becky says, not the jerk, when your favorite niece is pregnant, then she should announce it at her sister's birthday or a big event for her. If your favorite niece is pregnant the second time or something big happens for her or her husband, then announce that on your sister's birthday. Should be fun. And OP replies, she would never do that. She's not spiteful. An eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind, as they say. And Brio Mio says, I think that your niece is full of it. There's a whole room of people, and out of all those people, she happens to notice that you're clapping. I would be embarrassed in trying to figure out how to gracefully get out of there. I wouldn't be looking around and making a mental note of who was clapping. And OP replies, she saw me because I was sitting across from her. The seating arrangement had the bride's family sitting at the same table. Same for the groom's. And she did leave almost immediately afterwards. And Allegra O says, not the jerk, but now I'm wondering if the bride had a feeling her sister would make the announcement anyways and suggested the booing to her new in-laws and hubby's friends. And OP replies, I think she told her then fiance about it, but I doubt she planted suggestions. She's not mean like that. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for rejecting my sister's fiance's job offer and ruining everything? I'm a 23-year-old female, and I'm not sure if I'm the jerk in this situation, so here's it goes. My sister Anna, a 27-year-old female, has always been the golden child. She's smart, beautiful, and now engaged to a wonderful guy named Mike, a 29-year-old male. Mike is the kind of guy who makes everyone feel special, and I thought that he was the best thing that ever happened to Anne. Now, I couldn't be happier for her until recently. 3 years ago, I started my dream job as a graphic designer at a prestigious company. It wasn't easy to get in, and I had to work my butt off to prove myself. Fast forward to a few months ago, our company started a big project, and I was chosen as the lead designer. This was my big break. One evening, Mike dropped by my apartment to discuss something important. I assumed that it was about the wedding, but I was wrong. He told me that he had a business proposal. Mike had recently started his own tech company and needed a creative mind like mine. He offered me a position as the head of design with a significant pay raise and promised me equity in the company. It was tempting, but I politely declined. I love my job and I didn't want to mix family with business. Here is where things get messy. Mike didn't take my rejection well. He became pushy, trying to persuade me by any means necessary. I stood my ground, thinking that it was over. But then, weird things started happening at work. Rumors about me slacking off and missing deadlines spread like wildfire. My boss, who had always trusted me, started questioning my work ethic. Projects were reassigned, my reputation took a hit. Last week, I was then called into a meeting with HR and my boss. They had evidence of me leaking confidential information to a competitor. I was in shock and denied everything. They showed me emails sent from my work account, which I had never sent. I was suspended pending further investigation. Devastated, I went to Anne's place to seek comfort. As I was explaining everything to her, Mike walked in and he looked guilty, and it hit me. I confronted him, demanding to know if he had anything to do with this. After a tense standoff, he admitted to hacking into my email and sending those emails to sabotage me. He thought that if I had no job that I would be forced to join his company, and was horrified and broke off the engagement on the spot. Now my family is divided. My parents are furious with Mike, but also blaming me for provoking him by rejecting his offer. They think that I should have just accepted the job offer to keep the peace. Anne is supportive but devastated. My friends are telling me to take legal action, but I'm scared of the repercussions. So Reddit, am I the jerk for rejecting my sister's fiance's job offer and causing this mess? Alright folks, what do you think of this?
Not the jerk. This man is manipulative. He's not the type of person you want to work with. Someone who will go around and sabotage someone.
Someone who will commit a federal crime in order to make you join their team is not a good person.
Right.
And hacking someone's email account is a crime.
So I agree with your friends. Take legal action against this man. You clear your name and let him suffer the natural consequences of being a bad person.
Yeah. Plus, leaking information and secrets to a competitor, that's going to have a lot of damage to a company, right? And they can take legal action against the right person, right? Because if it turns out that you didn't do it, I'm sure they would love to take him for a ride, right? Call up your old boss, explain the situation, say you have a witness that will testify that he did this, and you can start to clear your name and maybe even get your old job back.
And I know this is hard for Anna now, but why do your parents want her to be married to someone who is cruel and manipulative enough that he would take away OP's dream job?
Well, and this is kind of really that charismatic, abusive type, right?
Yes.
Where they come across as very charismatic, as they come across like such a suave individual, only to turn out that they have a skeleton closet full of bones, right?
Yeah. And like the victim blaming here from the parents' behalf, saying that OP should have just taken the job offer to keep the peace. No, this man is not owed anything.
Yeah.
Like,
hire your own talent, right? Find someone else. OP isn't the only graphics designer out there. And if the salary and wage that he was offering is a good one, then he's bound to find an individual who's going to be able to meet that talent, right? And certainly, I think that he was really hoping that OP would take this, but that doesn't give him any reason or excuse to actually do any of the things that he did. Not to be pushy, not to hack her email, not to send confidential information to, parties. These are all really big things that he's done in order to get OP to join his company, right? These are huge things. Like, these are literal crime. He's going to spend time in jail. And I don't think that OP should have any problem with that, because he did something that he deserves to be punished for.
Right, and unfortunately he's put OP in a very bad spot, because if she doesn't report him, then her career is over and she could face the consequences of his actions.
Yeah. So I think that OP needs to really take legal action now before legal action is taken against her. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Bickwick says, okay, here's what I think you should do. 1, take legal action. 2, inform your employer of what transpired. 3, find out how he hacked into your work email and take measures to prevent another hacker from doing the same. The most common method of hacking is simple social engineering, so be more careful with your work account, even if you are with trusted people. 4, have a talk with your parents about how blaming you for this helps no one, and that they're defending the person who broke one of their daughter's hearts and put the other one's livelihood and reputation at jeopardy. I'm sure what they said came from a place of shock and confusion, and that they do not actually blame you for provoking him. Godspeed. And Jen DCPDX says, working with family is usually not a good idea. You politely declined, no means no. He is 100% to blame for all of this, and you should definitely take legal action. Not the jerk. And OP replies, yeah, you're right. I will never work with family again. Speaking of family arguments, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for turning a family argument into a massive situation that now involves theft? I'm a 20-year-old male and I come from a terrible family. One of my uncles is a raging narcissist, but everyone still talks to him, unfortunately. I'll call him Frank. Yesterday, we had a small family dinner since it's my grandmother's birthday. Frank and his wife Sarah are awful to Frank's daughter from the first marriage, Clara, an 18-year-old female. I would never stop if I explained all of it, but you need to know that Clara is innocent. They hate her for no reason. Frank is hosting a family dinner yesterday, and they were trying to use Clara as a servant. She had already cooked most of the food, and they were trying to make her clean up. She had had enough and called her stepbrother, her stepdad's son, to collect her. I've met her stepbrother a few times, and he's a very nice guy, but he does not mess around about his sisters, Clara included. He used to have major anger issues, but he's calmer nowadays. Her stepbrother arrived, and Frank said that he wasn't going to let Clara leave until she washed all of the dishes. Other cousins offered to help, but he said that since she made all of the dishes, because she did all of the cooking, she had to wash them. And then he hid her shoes and phone so she couldn't leave. For the first time ever, my mother and other elders were standing up to him and demanding that he let her go home, but he wasn't budging. Another argument started, and you know the type where all the kids are cleared out of the room. Clara started crying and was just going to do all the dishes, but I was like, no way. I went outside to her stepbrother's car, and it turns out that one of Clara's cousins from her mom's side was also there with him. They asked what was taking so long, and I informed them of the situation. This is where I might be the jerk, since I knew these two would go into the house and get Clara out by any means necessary. I let them in. And all I can say is that Clara's shoes and phone were returned immediately. I stayed outside, and I'm not lying when I said that those men shouted so loudly that the windows were shaking. Her stepbrother and cousin then also took a pair of Frank's shoes, TV remote, and a few other things because they could. Now everyone is mad at me. My mother is saying that I was a jerk because they were trying to get the situation sorted out, which is true. That was the first time that I saw anyone stand up to Frank. She said, now that I got Clara's maternal family involved, things are a million times worse. Clara's older brother, not the stepbrother, who is also Frank's son, couldn't make it to the family dinner, has completely disowned the family, and is refusing to return the car and lawnmower he borrowed. They are demanding that I apologize to Frank and that I also ensure that his belongings are returned. I don't think that I'm a jerk because it's his fault that he refused to let Clara go, but my sisters told me to post here. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. I mean, Frank was holding someone against their will.
Kidnapping.
Yeah, like what he's doing here is illegal.
Yeah.
And,
What's that called? Like imprisonment or
yeah, like false imprisonment
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and so OP was just letting people know that she was being falsely imprisoned so they could rescue her.
Yeah. I don't think that OP was in the wrong at all. I think that this situation called for a couple of goons to come in and shake the windows up a bit, right? Maybe if Frank is scared of this happening again, maybe he'll treat Clara better. But better idea, maybe Clara not ever go over to Frank's house again, right? Like, this guy is not a good individual, and the fact that he did something like this is really disconcerting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not feel safe around him, and I don't think that anyone should be visiting Frank anytime soon.
Well, it sounds like Clara might live with them, and because she's just 18, and like she may not have an alternate place, so hopefully someone in the family can help her find somewhere where she's actually safe instead of being stuck with these abusers.
Yeah. So it's not a good situation at all, and really, honestly, Clara needs to get out of this as fast as possible. I feel so bad for this poor girl. She really does not deserve this treatment or harassment. Doing all the cooking only to be told you also have to do all the cleaning, that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Fart and Sources says, not the jerk, not the jerk. F everyone who is telling you to apologize to Frank. For what exactly? You unleashed a Delta Force security team to unmess up Frank's hostage situation. Good for you. And OP replies, Delta Force is the perfect way to describe it. Clara's stepbrothers literally walked in there, asked if she wasn't being allowed to go home, and then her cousin physically picked her up and walked out. It was great. Yeah, I didn't think she would live there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she wanted to go home, right? So,
oh, that's right, yeah.
So, yeah, I was confused about that because I was like, oh, I thought she didn't live there. But, yeah, no, she doesn't live there. Well, you're not the only person who was confused because Soft Cactus 2 says she should start collecting money so that she can move out. That environment is toxic. And OP replies, she doesn't live with them, so don't worry. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of, the story was a little confusing, right? It was a little written confusingly. We won't hold it against OP, but it's hard to say exactly what was going on. It was a mess. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I have a tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
The lifeguard at the pool who you think is smiling at you is actually laughing at your attempts to do the butterfly.
They might be smiling at you, but they might also be laughing at your attempts to do the butterfly, but maybe they find it endearing. Maybe they find it endearing. We don't always have to make fun of people. We can just say that people are funny and quirky sometimes.
Yes.
Right. And I have Mega Mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Manic Monday, folks. I hope your day is going great and the start of your week is off to an amazing start. And Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it in the form of you being a member of the Delta Force.
I don't know what the Delta Force is.
They're just like security. Fancy security. Like SEAL Team 6.
Oh, right. Stop holding people hostage.
That's moral advice, folks. If you have people hostage in your house, don't hold them hostage anymore. You probably didn't make it to this point in the video, though, because you're biased. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see
we know who's thumb downing your video.
Yeah, we know who is thumb downing the video now. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Boo, guy said that kidnapping is wrong. I feel judged.